are going up. Trying to get ahead is mighty, mighty tough. Bill collectors at my door. I need someone to help me raise my brother's club.
Welcome back to the Pearl Polto Show. You know, this is the show that's going to be educating you right there in your household. We have a great show, not a good show tonight, a great show today. And I want everybody to participate. And the reason for that is the title of our show today is, as my guest would say, the American dream turns into a nightmare. Now, what do we mean by this? We have all seen in the past years, many of our post offices has been closing because they have a shortage. Well, let me just add, 0% of our tax dollars pay for the post office. Its funds come out of the revenue. Now let's look at the three examples. Let's look at what we've been doing for centuries. One, we have the post office. And they charge $16.50 for overnight, any state. And then we have UPS. Now the UPS charges $27 and some more, depending on the weight and depending on the distribution. And sometimes it's over $30, sometimes it's $60. Now that's UPS, they say, is the cheapest, but Federal Express, they say, is the fastest. But we pay the price. Now let's look at the post office. Now, we've been using the post office since Pony Express. Everybody's been mailing their mail. And we see the mailman every day, door to door. And we appreciate this. Sometimes at Christmas, we give them a tip. Now, all of a sudden, things change with their computer. Everything changes. Everything is done online. Everything is done where everything is online. And postal stamps go up every year. And my first question, well, first of all, I'd like to welcome my guest. What do you want me to call you? If your right name or what?
Sue's good.
Sue's good? Okay, Sue's good. The reason why my guest today, she's been on my show a few times talking about this topic, and this is years ago. So what does it show you? What does it show you, our politicians, our elections? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And what's wrong? A lot of people...
Sadly, it's gotten worse, actually.
It's gotten worse. Well, she's going to tell you, because what's wrong with our city? What's wrong with our state? What's wrong with our country? When people are afraid to come forward. And the reason why people are afraid, and I've done surveys with this, and I'm going to say, the police force, an example, they're afraid to come forward. They're having problems with the radio. But I'm going to do a show on that. And why they're afraid? They're going to get fired. What is wrong? Do we live in a communist country where everybody's afraid of their job? And do we live where, everybody says, well, I'm going to get fired if I tell the truth? Well, my guest today, I have to praise her. But my first question to Sue is, aren't you afraid of getting fired?
I do worry about that, but I'm not making stuff up. It's not anything that a person should be fired for. The public needs to be made aware. I don't understand why our APWU recently had aired some commercials. So many of the public think and still are under they're just misinformed. They really believe that their tax dollars is what funds the post office.
Right.
And it's sad because they come in, there's a line out the door. We, the workers, and we get the eye rolls, we get the blame for it. We get the attitude from the customer, and we are just as exacerbated as they are.
But they don't know it. I'm a customer, and I see the lines are
they
out
think
the door.
It's us, or they see the lines out the door. They don't know that I've already maybe been there 2.5 hours. I'm going to pull down, to go to take a break, which I should have had already, had. And then they roll their eyes because now I'm just leaving one person up there. We're short-staffed. We are extremely short-staffed.
Oh, no, come on. I'm in business. And I've seen myself. at a post office where the mail didn't get through. And I'm sure if it was you or another employee, showed me. It was a bin sky high, where no one even sent it out to the people. What's wrong with this? And all the supervisors, I'm sure, knows about this.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know about this.
all the first class mail when it comes in is supposed to go out that day. If mail comes late, if everybody's gone, I mean, there should be somebody that takes that mail out. There should be. There was a time when I would say, it went from one extreme to the other. Through attrition, people leaving, they have something called function fours where they come in and they evaluate for 1 or 2 days how much work. Okay, this job should take this many hours, and then they base on those 1 or 2 days, whenever they're doing it, which is usually in the summertime when the mail's lightest and people are on vacation, or the lightest days of the week, and that's how every day is supposed to be. So that's how the jobs are functioned.
So we're blaming you. But who's responsible for
and I don't know. I'd like to get. I mean, I would think postal management should be
are getting raised every day.
Well, not every day, but people. Right. The penny. That's another thing. People are very upset that the stamps went up a penny, and I'm like, a penny a piece. You go. The gas goes up 25 cents in a day, and people don't bat an eye, but they complain that the stamps went up for a penny. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get people. I do get it because because they think it's their tax money going to it. That's why they complain. They don't realize.
If I have to stand in line all day, and then they're raising it a penny, I'm saying, why are you raising it? You're not consumer oriented. But my question to you is the post office going broke?
It is, but it isn't. It isn't. It is, but it isn't. I say it's smoke and mirrors. It is. In the negative, only because of the pre-funding, which they're now getting at. We don't take any tax dollars, haven't since I believe it was 71. All the money that comes into the post office that pays our salaries, that pays postal management salaries, that pays the worker salaries, that pays all that, the overhead, the bills, comes from a customer coming in, mailing a package, comes from a customer coming in, buying a stamp. That's it. And the reason, and we profited. In 2000, when 9/11 happened, we were one of the few companies that profited billions of dollars.
So why are they saying we're going broke?
In 2006, Bush implemented this pre-retirement funding where we have to pay the Treasury or the federal government $5.5 billion every year off the top. So when times are lean, people are using computers, but people still do mail.
Of course.
Letters may be down, but packages are up. You know what I mean? So it's balanced in that way. The revenue, I believe, is still there. It's just it's being siphoned somewhere else. No other federal government.
Do you think the post office is going to go under?
I think it's being deliberately done so that they privatize. That people are discussing it with the lines. It blames we the workers look bad. It gives it justification. Get rid of it, and then boom, because UPS, FedEx, they're private companies. They are in it for the money. We are not. We are not to profit. And any profit that we do make is supposed to go back into that. And that's why I think we don't need it. That's why they did the pre-funding, but things have changed.
Now,
Congress did this mandate. Bush came up with it. Congress did this mandate in 2006. They can undo. They're the reason for this problem that, goes in now. And they're coming up with all these. There's a bill, I believe it's 1789, and they want changes to that. And my best advice for the public would be go to SaveThePostOffice.com. It's an excellent, unbiased website that gives you the actual story on what's going on. Because unfortunately, I'm very disappointed. Even CNN is not giving the accurate story. The only mainstream media that I've seen an accurate description is on MSNBC.
And the Polto show with you on it here.
Right.
But, did this start because everybody does not buy stamps anymore or goes to the post office? A lot of it does their business online. And I know they were going to close a lot of post offices last year, and I had to have people sign a 10,000 people commit or petition to keep it open. And they kept it open. But is this happening because everything is on the computer and people are using more?
The computer, it hit us a little bit. People do a lot of their, like I said, their bill. They pay their bills online. I personally don't do that. One, it kind of for mail for the post office.
Over that.
And I'm telling you to go to SaveThePostOffice.com because it's information that you can find at easy access. But I don't endorse going to the computer.
I'm afraid of going to pay my bills. I've told my sister, I've told my family, I've told even my clients. I am afraid personally, and here's why. There's so much going on and hackers in the computer.
Absolutely.
And you're paying your bills. Why can't they hack your bank, all
Absolutely,
the bills that
absolutely.
you're paying. And I said to them, no way. I'm going to put a stamp on my envelope and mail it the old-fashioned way.
Right.
Now, what do you think of that?
I think, right, I agree. I just saw something that the latest form of terrorism is going to be cyber hacking. I'm not real familiar with computers and all that anyway, but for all the stuff you hear about how they can be hacked, and you hear about the big corporate whatever, like Citibank or Citicards was just hacked or something. I can't imagine why you would risk that when for the price of a stamp you could send it. And a lot of people say, oh, I mailed this, it didn't get there on time. For the millions of letters and stuff that go out, I really, for the amount of complaints, I think we do a pretty good job at the post office. I have to say, I really do.
I would agree. I'm
do.
agreeing there. I'm going to agree with you. How long have you worked for the post office?
18 plus years, a little over 18 years.
Aren't you disgusted? I mean, of what you're seeing from 18 years ago to now, until they see Federal Express wants to buy everything out, and the people, well, they're complaining about the workers.
I am. It's never been. Everybody is also under the misconception that, oh, well, you work for the post office, you got a great job. And they don't get it. You don't get it. A lot of people, and I think that's the problem with America today.
Well, then tell them how to get it.
You don't get it till you get it, or till you've been there and walked a mile in somebody's shoes. And I can't quite understand how quick people are to judge. I think it's like somebody else. Like, it just amazes me. Instead of being empathetic toward a fellow American's plight, or possibly what's going on, and uniting, it's like you want to knock them over the head and get them out of your way so you can step over them. And it's
you're right. You're right. And let's put it to Federal Express. Let's put it to UPS, and then they're going to pay the price. And then we wonder why our country's going under.
Exactly. And that's what's scary about this, because the post office predates the Constitution of America. All this with our constitutional rights, and you're trying to undermine the basis of what our country was founded on. And it's being chipped away little by little by little. And people are just taking it, or they don't think they can do anything about it.
Okay, that's the other problem I have with the people out there. This is what I have with you. The people out there, they hear what's going on. You see what's going on. And I always say, numbers in a monopoly can change things.
Yes.
And yet, you sit back to be safe. You sit back, and then after it's not safe, then you're saying, oh, what do I do? What did I do? Or why did our government create this problem?
Our government was elected by us to represent us, to protect us. And it's come to a point where they have been bought out. I wish every American would go. It's hard to rent. Funny thing. It's only $10 to buy. Michael Moore, never was a fan of him before, but always was a little skeptical. Oh, yeah, that's his opinion. No, it's based on, his opinions are based on fact. Go rent or buy, if you can't rent it, Capitalism, A Love Story. Amazing movie, and it just gives you some insight onto what we were founded on and how things have gotten to where they are and what a person can do.
I've asked people to watch that same film of Michael Moore, and their reaction, and I was amazed, that's why I stopped. Their reaction and their answer to me was, well, that's his opinion.
Yeah.
And it amazes me. It's like you see a dog get hit by a car, and you're saying, I just seen this dog get hit by a car. Well, that's your opinion,
right.
Girl. Did you really see that dog get hit by a car as it's laying in the street? What is wrong? Mm-hmm. Sorry enough to say, but a lot of people, I call us the Stepford wives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because we're robots.
Right.
I've seen in positions, and I have to applaud, I'm appalled what's going on in the post office, because I love the post office. It's my business, through how I deal with business. But everything that's state, city, federal, the post office, the police force, anything that has to do with our government, why are people so afraid to come forward?
It's just crazy.
Like I said, I admire you.
It's crazy. It is. And people are disgusted. It's not really. It's like, I don't know. More and more people do need to band together. And, instead of having that mentality, well, they don't care, why should I? It's sad. It's just really, really sad. You need to and wake up before it's too late. Sadly, you know what's going to happen? Those flies come down, and those post offices. I said this on your show, I believe, 2 years ago.
Go ahead. Yes, you did.
They want to privatize it because then, and I say they, whoever the be at the top 1%, and it's a trickle down. I don't know, But people want their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, and it's still a moneymaker. If they undo the pre-funding, it's a profit maker. Once the post office closes, it's too late. How are you going to get your local post office reopened? And the post office, yes, it does center city and everywhere, but it also does those rural areas and the poor areas. Think about who's going to be hurt the most. It's not going to be the wealthy. They're going to have a way to pay for everything. It's going to be the average person or the poor, the people that need it the most. It's sickening. And I don't understand our lawmakers just sitting by. There's a few that have been voiced out recently on Senator Collins, I believe, and Lieberman is an independent, I believe. They really gave a pretty accurate description on what was going on. And it's funny because I had a family member tell me, she's like, oh my gosh, you could have been given it. It's basically what I was telling you about 2 years ago on the show. They were bringing the light now, and I'm just like, I don't get that either. Why did it take 2 years?
Now I'm gonna bring a really. We're gonna go to a break soon, but I'm gonna go to a really touchy one. What can we do about it? But two, when we come back, I want to know, why does the post office hire, instead of full-time workers, part-time workers that don't even speak English? Some of them don't even know the mail. I mean, a lot of people are getting post office's box. Is this the gimmick? When we come back, we're going to say, what can you do? And are you aggravated because you're not getting your mail and your next door neighbor is getting your mail? We'll be right back.
Consumers, are you being harassed by debt collectors? Whether you owe the debt or not, if you're receiving phone calls or letters from collection agencies or law firms acting as debt collectors, you, the consumer, have rights. I'm consumer protection attorney Kerry Flitter. You have heard me as a guest on Polto's show. There are federal and state laws that protect consumers from the tactics used in the collection of debt. Whether your debt is owed or not, whether you've made payment arrangements or not, you have rights. If you're receiving letters or calls from debt collectors, feel free to contact our office toll-free at 888-668-1225. We'll review the communication you've received from the collector or discuss any telephone calls. If your rights have been violated, we can bring legal action against the debt collector at no cost to you. Our telephone number is 888-668-1225 or visit our website, www.consumerslaw.com. That's consumerslaw.com. This is Kerry Flitter, advocate for your consumer rights. The collectors have lawyers. You should have one too. Our number again, toll-free, Pennsylvania or New Jersey, 888-668-1225.
Welcome back to the Polto Show. If you would like to email me on any kind of problem or any kind of show that you would like to express, go to pearlpoltoshow@gmail.com. The pearlpoltoshow@gmail.com. And if you have any solutions or if you have any topics that you would like me to discuss, let's see how afraid you are. Let's see, come forward, people. My guest today is a worker from the post office, Susan. And I said I praised her because there's many companies out there, federal, state, they're so afraid to come forward. And she's not afraid. And I wish everybody out there would follow her footsteps to say, we have nothing to lose anymore. We're not going to take it no more. And the only way we can make changes, if we all come together. How many times do we have to say this to you in order to not to hurt you with the government, with the federal government? How many times do we have to say before it's in your own backyard? When we were on a break, the question I asked her, and I'm sure many of you want this answer, including myself. When we see our mailman, we're getting used to them, and then all of a sudden we see a change. And then when we see the change, even myself, I would say, you gave my mail to somebody down the street.
Right.
And they didn't understand what I was saying.
Right. I don't understand. I don't get it either.
Why is the post office hiring part-time people and not full-time people?
I don't understand. Or it's so short-staffed, and I don't know if it's about hours, if it's a numbers game, what the problem is, but call it what it is. If you mess up, fix it. Don't continue to try to undo a mess up with more screw-ups.
But is there training?
And that seems like what it is. They had the latest they're called PSEs. Now I don't understand that. Basically, I was asked to train a few of them. Some other people were too. We're not paid anything extra to train. And I'm just thinking it was kind of like a slap in the face, because rumor had it these are the people that were probably going to be replacing us, and you're going to have us train them. And it's just like, it really makes no sense. The way it used to work, seniority, to get to like your local post office usually took a lot of time to get there. By the time you got there, you knew every point of the mail system from A to B and how it worked. So if any problem, you could really pick up on it. You have people that are hired that are 20, 21 years old. They have no understanding. They don't even know what a certified mail is.
Or speak English.
Well, a lot of times, yeah, and there's a language barrier too,
Of
and I don't
course there is.
understand.
It's going to different houses, and no matter what you say to them, they don't get it.
Right.
Where a lot of
Right.
people, a lot of consumers are coming to me to say, should we get a post office box because my mail is going all over the place. Now, is this because the health care, because if somebody's on part-time, they don't get health care?
They're supposed to be entitled to health care after a year of so many hours, so they're saving a little bit of money there, but they're really not saving that much money. So I that's another thing I don't get, but they're only guaranteed, I think, 2 hours when they bring them in. They're only guaranteed 2 hours so they can send them home, which from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense. I understand
From a business.
that concept from a
Yes.
business standpoint,
Yes.
but we are in the business of customer service.
Yes.
And it seems like it's being deliberately undermined every chance.
Okay,
You
now
know.
what I want you to do, I want you to look directly into that camera, and I want you to tell the people what we can do to help the post office stay in business. What can each one in all America do?
I would say the most right now. Instead, if you have any complaints, write your local paper. Write the Daily News editorial. Go call your congressman or your state representative. Let them know that you want to get to the underlying problem of what's going on with the post office, and you don't want to see it go under, and to support us, the workers, and just know that we do. A lot of us do care, and we're doing the best that we can.
So you're telling all the people out there what we can do to save it is to contact your newspaper, contact your congressman. Now, many of you out there will say, well, the next door can do it. The next
Right.
person can do it. I don't need it.
Or
Well,
if you do have, not that I endorse, but on the computer, go to SaveThePostOffice.com. It gives you the latest, up-to-date, even everything from grassroots to legislative actions and inactions. And inactions speak volumes, too, because what they're not doing, that can be deliberately done, too.
yeah, what they're not doing. This whole country is going, I believe there's something wrong. And we're doing so many shows, and I thought this was important because many of you, we get our mail every day, and you get your checks every day, and now it's direct deposit. You get your bills every day, and you get your mortgage bills every day, and there's people...
Fix the problem, Pearl. That's my biggest thing. People, I think it's like, fix the problem. They need to voice their frustration and opinions about the problem, not to just say, yeah, get rid of the post office, because we do take for granted. Even me, go into your mailbox every day and just put your hand in, and it really isn't costing you a thing.
I responded. I made a direct response to a couple people from the post office, including Washington, and Washington did respond, but the head of your organization did not. It's like everybody's afraid.
Right.
Everybody's afraid to come
Well, once you
forward.
get in your position or your whatever, people are like, oh, I don't understand what the problem. Truth is truth, right is right, wrong is wrong. It's that simple.
It's amazing.
It really is. It really is. You get so whatever, me mentality, the heck with everybody else. And,
Yeah.
and it's sickening. And that is why this country is in the predicament it's in today.
I think it's scary.
It is scary.
It was
It
the
is
banks.
scary.
It was the banks, but the banks folded down. They charged off a lot of accounts, and they're out of business. But the post office, this is our history.
Exactly.
This is the Pony Express.
Exactly.
I mean, if we do away with this, we might as well do away with Adam and Eve. We might as well do away with all the different things that are out there. The American flag. We might as well just change our flag. Because isn't this the post office?
It's crazy. It's disappointing. It is. It's discouraging. It's like, it's like banging your head up against the wall sometimes. But I don't know. I just hope people would stop and really think about it, even if it doesn't pertain to you per se. But that's what I don't get about this, because it does pertain to you.
Let me ask you
You
something.
get mail. Every person gets mail. This is going to affect everybody.
I'm gonna ask the people something, and I want your opinion. Okay. If everybody emailed me, and as you said, they have to contact their congressman. They have to contact. A lot of people don't like to do this. I know I'm in credit. And a lot of people don't like to do that either. I'm the head guy. If everybody emailed me, and I send all the information to Washington or to the congressperson, you think that would help too?
That would help. That would help. Definitely. It surely couldn't hurt.
Okay. People, get your paper, get your pens. Here's what I would like you to do. Email me at Pearl Polto, the Pearl Polto Show, the Pearl Polto Show at gmail.com. And you let me know how you feel, what you feel should be done. And I will gather up every email and forward it to Congress, newspapers, in whatever country or state you are in. Does other countries have this problem?
You know, I don't know. That's what I would be really curious to find out. I mean, it's totally different. I do know that because I have a lot of customers that would come in and do international mailings, and they would say, "Oh, but when it gets there, it could be held up in custom for months." And oh, when it gets there, so we are. I mean, we are a great country, and what you know, what this country or what made this country so great. It's trying to be undermined, and that's what's most infuriating. And I don't get it. It doesn't have to be like so often. It's they don't care, so why should we? You know, sort of thing, mentality or whatever. It's like we're all postal workers. I don't care if you're management. I don't care if you're a clerk. I don't care if you're a carrier. And it seems like it's so like they, us, and even me when I say that. And it's like it shouldn't be that way.
Yes, they,
it shouldn't
us,
be that way.
Yes.
And I don't get it because most postal officials that are higher up were once workers. It's like how quick you forget.
How quickly
the struggle. You know,
as my grandmother used to say, you forgot where you came from.
Yeah,
you forgot where you came from
absolutely.
with it. So you feel
empathy, right? You know what I mean? Have a little empathy, and you can't cut things to the bare bone, you know, and expect for them to continue, especially and then say customer service. It's like. I don't get it.
If you want your mail to continue for the rest of your life without merging to UPS, to Federal Express, I would like you, I am asking, email me to pearlpoltoshow@gmail.com. Go to make your comments on the YouTube, make your comments on the Facebook. I don't care. But if you can email me as well, I will get all I don't care if it's one sentence. If you want to keep the post office open, just tell me why. If you don't want to, hey, you know what, put it on the next person.
Even that would be, No, I was going to say, right. Even like, you know, if there's like, you know, not a horror story, but, you know, negative, like, you know, but just, I really would like people to know that sometimes to look a little deeper, I guess. You know?
It does work. People, let me tell you something.
Understand,
it does work. What she's saying, they were going to close a post office in the Philadelphia area. Let me give you an example. They were going to close a post office, and all the people came up to me and said, "Pearl, you're a consumer advocate. Please do something." And the only reason why they said, "Please do something," is because all their mail was coming to this post office, but so was mine. So I said to them, I will put up a petition, give me a one sentence, and give it to me. And they did with this petition. And at the end, we got over 10,000 names. And what I did for the people, I faxed over all day to the congressman and to Washington. And I said, don't close this post office, or we're all 10,000 are going to be right in front of this door, picketing. And you'll never get into office again. And you know what? They kept it open. So who did it? It was the people. It was you that really did it. So people in numbers, and this is not just with the post office. This is with everything. People in numbers makes a difference. And then you wonder why, after 30 years, I get so frustrated. Because I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I see what's going to happen. I see what is happening. And I see you being comfortable in your living room and saying, well, the next person will do it. I don't want to stir the pot. But then it stirs the pot when you don't get your check, when you don't get your letter. And then it's changed, as she said.
Because it's you.
Because it's you. And once it changes,
it's too late.
It's too late. So why wait for the future when it's the future is in the present?
Right.
So, what? I don't know what else to say to you, but listen to this show.
I mean, we should be outraged, Pearl. Outraged.
We are
over what
outraged.
happened
We
with all
are.
of our taxpayers' money. They went and bailed out the car corporations, and they had to pay back. But we did it then without a bat of an eye. Actually, without even a say or an American vote. They just, our representatives went and took our money and did what they wanted to delegate.
They did what they wanted
Now,
to
the
do.
post office has never, listen, 71 hasn't taken any taxpayers' dollars. Now, if we are in the negative, it's because of the pre-funding and that sits into an account in the government treasury. Instead of returning some of that money, if we are now, quote, losing money, they want to go for a taxpayer bailout. Now, that's infuriating because of what happened in the past. Even though any place at all deserved it, wouldn't it be the U.S. Postal Service? Because we're not for profit and we represent the American public, and that's, we're in service
But
for
everybody
the public.
feels, everybody thinks, and I'm sure everybody's going to agree with me out there, everybody thought that we were paying tax dollars for the post office.
Right.
Now,
Not since 71.
because it's the funds, who pays your salary? It's us, correct?
It's you.
the
It's
people.
me buying stamps. It's me. You. I use the post office for quite a lot of
So
things.
when they raise
and
it a
I've had
penny-
I don't get it. People, it's a little frustrating though to me. Like, people complain, oh, this line, or there's always a line. And where I'm at particularly, there is always a long line there. But, usually you go to the post office, I just don't get it. Like, I go to the grocery store, I wait in line. I go anywhere. I don't shop at Walmart personally anymore because I refuse to, you know what I mean? Because I just want to support union jobs. But I don't get it. Either you're going to have to wait in line, and it's, unfortunately, it's not simple. Sometimes we have people that come in with their pocketbook they just bought from Macy's and want to actually bring it to the counter and say, you send, not wrapped in a box, not anything. And I can't, as you have to explain to them how to do it, it takes time. And people are frustrated with the worker, not the person that is clueless to what they're doing.
All right, there is, and this is the humor of this, though. There's a new show on television. It said, "What would you do?" And I went to my post office one time, and Susan was working up there, and there's a sign on the door and said the post office is closed on Saturday, but the boxes were open. Well, wouldn't you know?
We're for you, mail pickup only. We're only here for mail pickup. That's how they phrase it. Mail
Wouldn't
pickup.
you know? Everybody that walked into that door. After I told them, because I was talking with Susan, or Susan told them, they still had to
Check the door.
Check the door. They had to check the door.
Right. And I don't get it because I'm like, I have a badge. I'm an official. I work here. I would not. Why would I lie to you? And right, people, it's just like human nature is very untrusting, I guess.
I'm
And
glad
I
you
don't
said
get it.
that.
I don't get
Are
it.
you
I don't
lying
get it.
to the people today?
No.
I mean, is the
I mean,
post
it's
office
crazy.
broke? Everything you said tonight,
It's
are you lying
No,
to the people?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And I really, people need to be made aware of what's going on. And please, I just implore you to look deeper. Don't, take it out on your local worker. Just call your, I guess at this point in time, I guess the best thing to do is to contact your local representatives.
Yeah. Or contact me. Contact me under the Pearl Polto
right, yes,
Show
yeah, Pearl,
at
that would be
gmail.com.
If you don't know how,
you don't know how to do it,
send her an email. She'll do it for you.
I'll do it for you. But my quest to you is, tell your family, tell your friends, everybody that's receiving mail worldwide, tell them to watch this show. Susan, I'm really glad that you came on here today. Really glad, because I think the people has to know what's going on with the post office. I think everybody was in the dark. No one knows. Everybody thinks it's a government fund.
Right, and that they pay your salary. And that, even with police, I never have the audacity, if you come encounter with like a cop that has an attitude or whatever, and irritates you, I pay your salary. Like, I would never be that indignant to say that to somebody
Neither would
if it
I.
was true. But it's not ever been
True
more
for the
untrue
post
for the
office.
right,
For the
right.
post office. It's interesting.
It really is.
These shows, I'm going to say it like it is, and we're going to challenge people. And I'm definitely, if you are a police officer, I don't care if you're present, retired, and you want to come on this show to talk about the radios, please do so. If somebody out there not afraid, is all the police officers, I hate to say this, afraid of losing their job? I want to hear from you as well.
Everybody is. Pearl, look at the Secret Service. What happened with that whole scandal? And a woman, 40-something-year-old woman, had to be the one to got that whole ball rolling, apparently.
Unbelievable.
I don't know the whole story with that, but I just can't be. I'm
Unbelievable.
like, the stupidity of some people, it never ceases to amaze me.
We have some great shows coming up next week. The title of next week's show is How Far Would You Go for a Cause? Yeah, how far would you go for a cause? If you believe in a cause, how far would you go? Well, we're going to have a gentleman that comes on and actually show you how far he went. And then in the future, we're going to have the world-renowned Valerie Morrison. We're going to have her on the show. And we're going to do shows on bill collectors. We're going to do shows on, can your credit be corrected? Well, we're going to correct it right here. So there are going to be no more doubts with credit rights and everything else. I can't stress enough that everybody to tune in, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your relatives to tune in to the Pearl Polto Show. And don't say, well, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right,
because today, just do it. That's
Just
who
do
said
it.
that.
Just do it. Nike, just do it. Yeah, Nike, just do it. You got to be
do
like
it.
Nike and just do it.
And if you're afraid, you know what? You won't be afraid, because in 1987, when I did credit, and I'm still doing credit, and people would say, "No, I don't need to be educated now. No, I don't need to know my rights." And then 30 years later, the same people call me to say, "I have a problem." And you know what? You're going to have a problem next year or the following year if you call me to say, "I didn't get my mail. My checks are late. What do I do? Can you help us now?" Well, you know what? I'll probably still help you, but I will probably yell and scream as I normally do.
Like, I don't get it, Pearl. Why, when we vote, do we vote and on these questions? Should the city borrow $17 million for its parks and recreation? I get why we do that, but why with the post office then?
Yeah.
Is there all this congressional and all this hoopla? And I'm infuriated by the smoke and mirrors that's going on here.
That's what you call them,
I
smoke
call
and
it smoke and mirrors because you are supposed to be representing us. There's a few that get it, but really like a handful that get it, that speak the accurate truth, that I just don't understand, and then everybody else is being bought out. Like, really? It just makes me shake. It's infuriating. It really is.
And let me say something to you. Susan will be a guest again on our show, and not for the post office. And I thought this was also a serious topic. She will be a guest again on our show, and it's not for the post office. A member of her family is in the armed forces. She was appalled what was going on. And what I heard the president say last night, I thought of her and I thought, oh my God. Come on, government. Take care of our people.
And our people's
Take
family.
care of our people and their family. And what she's going to tell you on another show is appalling to this country. Are we going down the tubes? And it's scary. It's up to us. We are the American dream. And as the title of the show was, is the American dream turning into a nightmare? Let's turn it around. Let's keep that American dream. Let's keep that American dream.
Well, it kind of is. I mean, really, if you look at other countries, and like our healthcare has gotten so atrocious that it's so much better in another country, then that's telling you something. And everybody screams socialism or this. I really wish Democrat, Republican, why don't we have some humanitarians running? How about that? How about
Well, you know what? We should. But here's the problem. It's the politicians who pays them for the publicity, the television.
Right.
And
the
this is where the corporate.
Right.
The corporate.
And they do. They need to get the money out of politics.
And they want favors.
Yes.
They want favors. So what you said, an average person should be running that understands the problem.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's shame. And some of them,
there are, I think, originally, and how, you just get swept away or you get eaten up alive by the, powers that be. It's sad. It's very sad.
It's very sad. I always say I hope I'm not around 40 more years to see what this country's going to be like, because I don't think I'd want to be around for the kids. I wouldn't want to raise a kid in today's world because of what's going on. And if you're a parent or a grandparent out there and you see what's going on, and I know you're shaking your head and you're saying, no, we don't like it. Well, you know what? I'm going to make it easy for you. And we're going to have a lot of good shows. And let me tell you, everybody, and thank you for your emails on the shows that you want to have on, because I'm getting a lot of emails. And one show is the scams that are going out there. How would you like one client that paid $18,000 to another country because they told her she won $9.5 million? And if you're out there watching, I know you're shaking your head, but this happens every day. So we're going to have a lot of good shows to correct it from other countries even. Somebody has to do it. Why not us? Again, I want to thank Susan. This is the Pearl Polto Show, as always, making the most of your credit and every consumer problem. And we're going to see you next week.